Johnson. I am the Senior Associate Director for the African American Academic Network. On behalf of the entire staff of the African American Academic Network, welcome to an evening of gifts, and the journey continues. This evening is truly the high point of our year. It is an opportunity for us to share in the realization of the goals and the accomplishments of our students to date. The official welcome and salute to the class this evening will be given by Mr. J. Rex Tolliver, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. At this time, I have the honor of welcoming our stage guests, comprised of UIC administration, faculty, staff, and student. Please welcome the following with me. Mr. J. Rex Tolliver, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Dr. Robert Barish, Vice Chancellor for Health Affairs. Dr. Nikos Virales, Vice Provost for Undergraduate Affairs and Academic Programs. Dr. Ralph King, Dean of Honors College. Dr. Linda Deanna, Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs and Dean of Students. Dr. Aisha Elamine, Associate Provost and Chief of Staff. Dr. Lori Barcliffe Baptista, Director, African American Cultural Center and keynote speaker. Dr. Alfred Tatum, Dean, College of Education. Dr. Jane Rhodes, Department Head, African American Studies. Dr. Amaya Pallares, Associate Chancellor and Vice Provost for Diversity. Mr. Tom Moss, Associate Vice Provost, Undergraduate Affairs. Ms. Regina P. Ward, Student Speaker, College of Social Work. Ms. Caroline Sweeney, Assistant Vice Provost for Diversity and Community. Ms. Ashley Stone, Academic Advisor, the African American Academic Network, and MC this evening. Mr. Oscar Rodriguez, Director of Recruitment and Outreach, Academic and Enrollment Services. Dr. Darrell Pendleton, Associate Dean for Student and Diversity Affairs, Interim Executive Director, Urban Health Program. Dr. Ajina Mohammed, Director, Council on Teacher Education. Dr. Phyllis Hayes, Founder of Chance Program, UIC. Dr. Lanier Ford, Assistant Dean, Graduate College. Dr. Joseph Hermes, Director, UIC Counseling Services. Ms. Kara Holloway, Director, Scholarships. Mrs. Mary Fleming, Associate Director, President's Awards Program. Mr. Vance Pierce, Associate Director, Center for Student Involvement. Ms. Charisse Jackson, Assistant Director, Urban Health Program, College of Nursing. Mr. Alan Bryson, Director, Summer Research Opportunity Program. Please join me as we welcome them to the stage. Now that my esteemed colleagues have taken their seats on stage, thank you. Thank you very much. Please have a seat. Our Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs is unable to be with us due to a family emergency. However, his wife is with us, and we are with him in spirit. Thank you for joining us. Now that my esteemed colleagues and special guests have taken their seats on stage, we will now all take the time to prepare for the procession of our graduating students, which will be led in this evening by our director, Mr. Jeff Brown. Though first, according to the history of this event, it dates back to 1993. Nearly 25 years ago, a Black student UIC organization, the Uniter, and the African American Cultural Center held the first end-of-year ceremony. In 1997, the African American Academic Network hosted the program, as we are tonight. Continuing the tradition of those students, we are acknowledging the significance of their legacy. The ceremony remains the singular event at UIC that celebrates the achievements of graduating students of African descent. Therefore, it is with a collective consciousness, a collective well wishes, a collective praise, and a collective farewell we assemble here tonight for the class of 2018. We celebrate their academic success to date, their resilience, their perseverance, their history here, and their future. Join me as we welcome in the class of 2018, again led by Mr. Jeff Brown, African American Academic Network. Let the celebration begin.
What a lovely, precious dream. To be young, gifted, and black. Open your heart to what I mean, to what I mean. 'Cause you know, in this whole wide world, that's a fact. Oh, yes, it To be young, gifted, and black. We
right, give it up for the class of 2018. Come on, make some noise. You may be seated. Wow, the view from here is amazing. Give yourselves a hand. I might as well get this out the way. Wakanda has nothing on this crowd. Listen, we have a lot to do on tonight, so I'm going to get right into the program. And to start us off, I'd like to invite the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs to the podium to start us off with a welcome. Please welcome J. Rex Tolliver.
Good evening, class of 2018. You ought to be excited for yourself, man. To all of our family and friends who have joined us on tonight, certainly it is my honor, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the University of Illinois at Chicago. Certainly to these graduates, I welcome you not only to this place that you've called home over the last few years, but I also welcome you to your future. Great days are ahead of you. I grew up in the South, in the state of Louisiana, and in that state, North Louisiana, where I was raised, there was a little town called Lucky. And every time we would go through there, my dad would say, when you're in the right place at the right time, consider yourself lucky. But as I matured and I grew, I remember the words of the great Roman philosopher Seneca, who said, luck really is the intersection of preparation and opportunity. All the things that you've been doing over the last few years has been preparation. All of your classes, all of your exams, all of your finals, all of your frustrations have been preparation. But tonight, you stand at the doorway, at the window of opportunity. And wherever you find yourself beyond this night, tomorrow, and next week, you may never get to Lucky, Louisiana, but wherever you plant your feet, you will always be lucky. Again, welcome tonight and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Rex, for those words. I'm going to have the UIC Gospel Choir assemble. They are going to lead us in our Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. And when I say lead, that means I want to hear you all singing as well, all right? The words are printed in your program, so I need full participation. You all give the gospel choir a hand as they come. may be seated. That's right, get it out. Coming to the podium right now is our Vice Chancellor for Health Affairs, Dr. Robert Barish. Give him a hand as he comes.
Well, thank you, thank you. You know, I must say I feel right at home following my good friend Rex Tolliver, you know, who's also a reverend. He got, I think, year 2000, wasn't it, Rex? Anyway, I'm probably the only other person here who knows where Lucky, Louisiana is, which is between Ashland and Saline, because I was the chancellor at LSU. So we both came here from the South, and I got to tell you, this warm welcome, it just reminds me a lot of the South, Rex. So thank you. So welcome to the graduates. This is one of the best days that, you know, a Vice Chancellor of Health Affairs can ever have. We have friends, distinguished faculty, staff from across the university. And additionally, I got to say that Rex does just a great job here. And Mr. Brown, thank you for your warm welcome and for this terrific event. So each year, as we begin our commencement season, the African American Academic Network comes together to acknowledge the remarkable, and I'll repeat, the remarkable accomplishments of the hardworking students across disciplines during this celebratory convocation. Whenever I have the opportunity to speak with our students, I'm impressed by their commitment, desire to tackle some of the most complex issues that we face in our communities and globally as well. So anyone who's ever visited the UIC campus knows that diversity is not only a hallmark of UIC experience, but it's also a fundamental strength. Here, diversity is more than just a word or an ideal. It's something that we truly live and experience on a daily basis. We know that this commitment to diversify and diversity enriches the educational experiences for all of our students, making everyone smarter and stronger. So here we at UIC continue the work to cultivate an inclusive culture of diversity and a welcoming campus climate, and to enhance the enrollment and graduation of historically underrepresented students. And that's why for over 20 years, again 20 years, a focused commitment to the success of our African American students has been so important. The work of the African American Academic Network to promote success among students through advising, developmental program, and advocacy is foundational to the success of our constant pursuit of an inclusive academic community. Now, what inspires me the most about UIC is that we don't simply talk about being an inclusive academic community, we actually live it. And all one has to do is look around the graduates, the faculty, and the staff. Now, I'm going to tell the students here, you know, I had the opportunity to work under one of your most famous faculty members here at UIC, and I know people here on the podium know who I'm going to talk about. It's Dr. Donald Wilson. He was a faculty member in GI medicine, and he became the first African-American dean of the University of Maryland School of Medicine. And I worked under his direction for 14 years. After that, he became the #1 dean of medicine in the country, the first African-American dean of the chairman or council of deans, all 145 deans in the country. So that's what UIC is all about. And he's one of the best leaders in the country, and it was an honor and a privilege to work under his direction. So, as Chicago's only public research university, you know, we call this the University for Chicago, all right, the University for Chicago. We honor our commitment to high-quality education for all by preparing our students to be successful professionals, lifelong learners, active citizens, and caring persons. I'm certain you have experienced this throughout your academic careers by means of valuable networking and face-to-face communications that help you hone your interpersonal skills. So to the class of 2018, you're among the most diverse generations in the history of higher education. Without a doubt, the valuable opportunities and experiences made available to you through UIC's African American Academic Network have fostered your curiosity, ambition, and motivation to pursue success in your future generations and pathways. You've worked diligently for many years to reach this milestone. and we honor your success. As you move on to your next steps, I encourage you to be advocates of what you've learned here. As distinguished graduates, and again, as distinguished graduates of UIC, you serve as role models for those students who will follow in your path. You have the ability to make significant change happen, both as a professional and as a mentor. Finally, as you move on to the next chapter in each of your stories, remember that you are now part of UIC's history. As you've learned from your professors, staff, and your fellow students, the university has also learned from you. So for now, enjoy this ceremony and celebrations these coming days. Remember those who helped you along the way and those who actually couldn't be here today as well. Keep in touch with one another and with the university. Congratulations to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Barish, for your remarks. Ms. Regina P. Ward is a native and lifelong resident of Chicago. She is multifaceted, a mother, grandmother, UIC graduate, and in her own words, a servant to God and his people. Ms. Ward has 38 years of customer service work experience, including a long stint with the Chicago Transit Authority. She earned an associate's degree of applied science in addiction studies from Kennedy King College in 2014, a bachelor's of social work from Governor State University in 2017, and next week she will be awarded with her master's degree in social work from the Jane Addams College. Ms. Ward is a member of Phi Alpha, the National Social Work Honor Society. Outside of her myriad responsibilities, she volunteers at the Women's Division of Cook County Jail and is also an ordained deacon. Regina P. Ward is committed to using her gifts to provide mental health services to children and families who reside in marginalized communities. Ms. Ward's social work philosophy is best summed up by the following quote from Frederick Douglass: "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Audience, can we have a warm welcome for our 2018 student speaker, Ms. Regina P. Ward.
Well, thank you for that. Good evening. Good evening, family, friends, guests, and good evening, members of the class of 2018. Y'all look so good. I am deeply humbled and delighted that the African American Academic Network has given me the opportunity to stand before you this evening. I am overwhelmed with gratitude and gratefulness, and I'm gonna try not to cry. It is my desire to effectively communicate with you this evening and not be like the man from Chicago I heard Reverend Dr. Tony Evans talk about. You see, winter came early in Chicago that year. The man and his wife had a winter home in Florida. After shoveling ice and snow, he said, "I'm sick of this. It doesn't make sense to stay here any longer. I'm leaving right now." He packs up and goes to Florida, but he wanted to let his wife know he had left Chicago. Now, old school people like myself using new school technology can have devastating consequences, and I'm sure some of you have too. He sent his wife an email, but instead of it going to his wife, it went to a little old lady in Iowa. The little old lady was a preacher's wife, and her husband had just died. When she read the email, she fainted. Her family members rushed to her aid, and when they read the email, they understood why she had fainted. The first line of the email said, "My dearest darling, I wanted you to know I arrived safely." The next line said, "Looking forward to you joining me real soon." It was signed, "Your loving husband. P.S. It sure is hot down here." So you see, it's important to communicate effectively. Bear with me as I try to do so. Upon reflecting on this year's theme, Gifts, the Journey Continues, I thought about the definition of gift. Merriam-Webster defines gift as something voluntarily transferred by one person to another without compensation. I then began to think about the gift of education. The more I thought, the more thankful I became. I am thankful for our ancestors, many of whom were denied the gift of education because they were slaves. I am thankful for Reverend Oliver Brown, an ancestor from Topeka, Kansas, who was frustrated by the fact that his daughter, Linda Brown, who recently joined our ancestors in March, she was not allowed to attend her neighborhood elementary school because she was black. His frustration about the distance that his daughter had to travel to attend the Negro elementary school led him to the local chapter of the NAACP. I am thankful for the Honorable Thurgood Marshall, who at the time was the lead counsel at the NAACP. He successfully argued the case Brown versus the Board of Education before the U.S. Supreme Court in 1954. This prompted the desegregation of the U.S. education system and eventually led to him, the grandson of a slave, becoming the first African-American Supreme Court justice. What a journey. When I think about my personal journey, I'm thankful for my grandmother. She too was the granddaughter of a slave. She was denied the gift of an education because as the eldest female child, she had to drop out of elementary school to help raise her 9 younger siblings. I am thankful that she was a praying and Bible-reading grandma. One of her favorite scriptures was Hosea 4:6a. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Consequently, she encouraged her children, her grandchildren, and even her great-grandchildren to seek the gift of an education. When I think about my personal journey, I am thankful for my mother and her unending support and unconditional love. I am also thankful for my daughter, an elementary school principal. 6 years ago, I decided to retire from the CTA, and I wondered what I was going to do with the rest of my life. My daughter said to me, "You always told me that knowledge was power. You also told me that you regretted not going to college. Maybe God is giving you the opportunity to go back to school." This is what Oprah would call an aha moment. When I think about my personal journey, I am thankful for my sister friend, Dr. Martha Matkins, who helped me enroll at King College, where I obtained my associate's degree. She, along with many other members of my village, continued to encourage me, which led to the gift of the bachelor's degree and the opportunity for me to stand before you 6 years later as a candidate for a master's degree from the Jane Addams College of Social Work. When I think about my personal journey, I am thankful for organizations like the African American Academic Network, who provide supportive services which empowers us to receive the gift of education. When I think about my personal journey, I am thankful for the tenacity, resilience, perseverance, and courage of our ancestors who traveled the Middle Passage, and our ancestors who fought for us to have the right to receive this wonderful gift. So I charge you, the members of the class of 2018, as well as everyone that is within the sound of my voice, to reflect on and cherish your gifts. I charge you to utilize your gifts in such a way that future generations can stand on your shoulders, just as we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. I charge you, as your journey continues, to embrace the words of one of my favorite poems, Let Your Light Shine, which was written by Mary Ann Williamson. It was many times that I felt like I couldn't read another chapter. I couldn't type another paper. I was just tired. But I want you to know the struggle was real, but so are the blessings. And when I had those valley moments, I would read this poem. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Let the journey continue.
Change of plans, sorry. We will now have a musical selection from the UIC Gospel Choir. We Win.
We are excited to have our graduate with us, Lauren, who will be directing this next song. How many people win on today?
Another round of applause for the UIC Gospel Choir. Dr. Lori Barcliff Baptista directs the African American Cultural Center at the University of Illinois, Chicago. In addition to her role at the African American Cultural Center, she is an Honors College Faculty Fellow and holds faculty appointments in UIC's School of Theater and Music, the Department of African American Studies, and the program in Museum and Exhibition Studies. For almost 7 years, Dr. Baptista has been responsible for the oversight of the African American Cultural Center and focuses the center's support on the academic and diversity missions of the university through research, teaching, and social art practice programs. She teaches ethnography, film, literature, museum studies, and performance-based courses at UIC. While at UIC, Dr. Baptista has served on a number of university-wide advisory committees, task forces, and working groups, most notably a multi-year effort to identify strategies to promote student success. She has advised the UIC Black Campus Ministry student organization and supported UIC student participation in a documentary film that explores the local legacy of civil rights activist Bayard Rustin. Dr. Baptista remains an active participant in national, international, and citywide arts and cultural initiatives, including the Black Performance Theory Working Group and Chicago Cultural Alliance. She is a recipient of a number of grants and honors, and her work is featured in numerous exhibitions, performances, working papers, peer-reviewed journals, and edited volumes. Her research, teaching, and creative practice continues to explore how members of diverse communities use aspects of material and expressive culture to negotiate their relationships with particular places, histories, traditions, and concerns. Please welcome to the stage our 2018 keynote speaker, Dr. Lori Barcliff Baptista.
Good evening, beautiful people. Look at you, your graduation robes flowing like all the Balmain capes in Beyonce's closet. Cotton wax print suits regal like T'Challa. Bedazzled with all that Wakandan vibranium. While I have been honored to participate in the AAAN Convocation ceremony as a Deus guest for 6 years, I am especially honored to have been invited to give the keynote address this evening. I want to talk to you a little bit about gifts and the journey that you will continue to embark upon with your gifts. Convocation, by definition, is a convening or assembly of persons in which your community formally, publicly, and individually recognizes you. It is a rite of passage, a ritual, celebratory, ceremonial occasion that marks your change in status within your communities as you transition from being UIC students to UIC graduates. Convocation is meant to celebrate your accomplishment, affirm your abilities, and charge you to embark upon this next phase in your lives. Along with this change in status comes a new set of responsibilities and opportunities to apply the fruits of your studies and experiences. So our student speaker already shared how gift is represented in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It is a thing willingly given to someone without payment, a present. It's also natural talent and ability. As a verb, the word gift signifies the act of giving something, especially formally or as a donation. I want you to think about the gifts that have been bestowed upon you, the gifts that you possess within yourselves, and your potential to give to others. For those of you who've taken a class with me or participated in one of my workshops, you know I always like to start out by getting a sense of who's in the room. So let's see who's here tonight by a show of hands, how many of you are the first person in your immediate family to graduate from college? How many of you never had a chance to attend college but are here supporting someone else? You are a gift. How many of you have made it possible for someone else to go to college? How many of you or your parents migrated to Chicago from Mississippi? What about Alabama? Louisiana? How many of you or your parents immigrated to the United States from Nigeria? How about Ghana? Haiti? Jamaica? Where else? Who else is here? You are a gift. How many of you here speak more than one language? More than two? More than three? You are a gift. How many of you here are parents? Grandparents? Great-grandparents? You are a gift. How many of you here are more than 70 years old? More than 80? More than 90? I want to draw attention to a very special person who has always been a source of inspiration in my life. My 94-year-old cousin, Mrs. Ruth Parker. She was the first person I knew as a child who traveled extensively and in our family tradition regaled my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, and I with her stories of her adventures. When she was 85, she went skydiving in Jamaica. She is a gift to our family, and I want to acknowledge her here. My mother, aunt, cousins, in-laws, children, and nieces are all here. Family is a gift, and my own life's work, as yours, is possible with only family support. So let's give it up for family. Graduates and guests, what a gift it is to be in this room with at least 3 generations of people who are invested in your success and growth. When I teach, I often start to build relationships and nurture exchanges between my students with an activity in which I ask them to share 3 social categories, 3 words that express how they self-identify and how others identify them. They have over the years included the categories mother, daughter, son, African American, woman, queer, Palestinian, Nigerian, Polish, brother, sister, cisgendered male, engineering major, English minor, and so on. I've always found this to be a very forthright way to open up an earnest dialogue, to engage the diversity that is at the heart of what makes UIC a very special place. Over the past almost 7 years, students have shared their intersectional identities in my classes and in the African American Cultural Center, a gift that I was entrusted to preserve and develop. Grace Sims Holt was a much-loved professor here at UIC. She was appointed the first director of the Black Studies program, which is now African American Studies, in 1974, and continued in that position until 1986. Professor Holt started the Black History Month program on this campus and chaired the planning committee until she retired in 1990. A linguist, she specialized in Black English and developed a community of colleagues and allies who soon helped students to recognize Black English as a worthy area of study. She was well regarded as a level-headed mentor and helped countless people of African descent to strategically cope with the legacies of discrimination. She cautioned that students who had been disadvantaged by racism could not be helped by lowering the standards of achievement, but rather advocated for alternative evidences of accomplishment. A source of inspiration for numerous students, faculty, staff, and community members, one aspect of Professor Holt's legacy is the tenacity and organizing efforts of a cohort of African American students who petitioned the university to create a cultural center that valued and promoted the contributions of people of African descent. The African American Cultural Center was founded in 1991 as a result of their activism and advocacy. Grace Holt, Black History, African American and African Diaspora Studies, AAAN on this campus are gifts. They fill the space between absence and presence, thought and word, feeling, being, and action. They are cultural memory encapsulated and distilled. Don't lose this gift. Diversity at UIC is a gift. It is a rare opportunity to be in community dialogue and relationship with a local and global community. It is an opportunity to engage ideas and experiences outside of your own, as well as affirm the deep and profound sense of who you are. As an ethnographer, I am entrusted with the responsibility of collecting and sharing other people's stories. Through my work with African Americans with ties to the rural agricultural South, immigrants, refugees, volunteer doulas, and formerly incarcerated women, I've developed a deep and felt sense of how we are intimately connected to people in ways that we would not otherwise imagine unless we spoke to them. As your journey continues, you carry all of your classmates' ideas and experiences with you. Think of how you can be an ally when you leave the classroom to enter into other rooms, and those whose stories you have been fortunate to learn are not at the table. You have no doubt overcome many obstacles and challenges to successfully complete your studies and be here in this community today. You have no doubt worked long hours outside of the classroom to study for and complete assignments. Many of you also work long hours to pay for your education. Many of you cared for family members, suffered great losses, and endured personal and professional hardships along the way. Some of you are student athletes. Some of you toiled long hours in the lab or tutored. Many of you advocated for the environment, prison abolition, fair wages, DACA, and muted R. Kelly. Your grit, tenacity, and commitments to social justice are gifts. Like many of you, I'm the first person in my immediate family to graduate from college. My grandparents were from rural North Carolina and had a 6th grade formal education, but life education that exceeded the book smarts of many so-called intellectuals. My parents and extended family worked hard to provide opportunities for my sister, brother, and I. What you and I have learned from our families and our experiences, studying, teaching, and learning is a gift. As your journey continues, think about how you can pay it forward. Where are my psychology majors? Think about how you might use what you have learned about the human mind and behavior to help address some of the stigmas of mental health and help marginalized people to access mental health care. Where are the criminology, law, and justice graduates? Consider how you might use what you have learned about individual, social, and structural forces that influence criminal behavior and the functioning of crime control systems to address some of the structural inequalities in our mass incarceration system. Is sociology in the house? How might your understanding of social structures and problems bring about a more just and equitable society? What about engineering? How might you creatively apply science, mathematical methods, and empirical evidence to innovation, design, construction, operation, and maintenance of structures, machines, materials, devices, systems, processes, and organizations? Where are my public health majors? How do we address health disparities that disproportionately lead to negative outcomes for people of color? Where are all my arts and humanities graduates? Rest assured, the humanities are not dead. What we need now, more than ever, is to process and document the human experience in as many media and forms as possible. How can you use your gifts to critically approach, explore, and engage the world? Where are my fine artists, musicians, and architects? How might you use your gifts to create engaging works that offer pleasure, respite, and contemplation as we attempt to reconcile the harsh realities of everyday life? Where are my African American Studies majors? How do you share and make relevant the lived experiences of peoples of African descent during an era where it is still necessary to remind various publics that Black lives do indeed matter. You are the gift. To paraphrase and to be honest, kind of decontextualize Toni Morrison for a minute, you are your own best thing. You are. Your journey continues in service to your family, to your community, to the university, to someone who needs an ally. Use your talents. Get involved with the UIC Alumni and Black Alumni Association. Volunteer somewhere, somehow, on behalf of someone. In closing, legend has it that the late Billie Holiday was inspired to write the lyrics to the song God Bless the Child after an argument with her mother over money. Holiday's textured vocalization and lyrics evoke the bittersweet reminder that oftentimes those of us who may have had the least amount of privilege extended towards us bear the additional responsibility or burden of being, as Scandal fans would recall, twice as good to get half as much. But we persist. People in diaspora are resilient. People of African descent in the Americas survived the Middle Passage. People in almost every diaspora have survived wars, civil and uncivil, disasters natural and man-made, racial, ethnic, gendered, religious, ableist, and ageist discrimination. People have survived government corruption and coups. People in the Americas survived slavery. Black people in America survived slavery and its aftermath. Black people in the United States of America survived Reconstruction, the Great Depression, and Jim Crow, and will rise above the distractions of anti-intellectual Trumpisms and Kanye West's narcissistic indulgences to make meaningful contributions to the lives of future generations. Black people in America are not alone and adrift in the world and have always shared common concerns with allies and collaborators from other communities, many times who may not look just like them. UIC graduates here tonight at the African American Academic Network 2018 Convocation are fierce, resilient, beautiful, powerful, inspiring gifts. Your journey continues. Them that's got shall get. Them that's not shall lose. So the Bible said, and it still is news. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own.
Keep the round of applause going for Lori Barcliffe Baptista, PhD. You know, Lori, I didn't know you could sing like that, but thank you for moving my spirit this evening. At this time, we would like to acknowledge both our keynote and student speakers for Convocation 2018. So, Mr. Brown, would you? So first, we would like to call Ms. Regina P. Ward up to receive your award from Mr. Brown. Regina P. Ward, the African American Academic Network, thanks you for being our student speaker and delivering a dynamic message to us this evening. Thank you. She said, do I get a red bag? I said, girl, you get a tower, a crystal tower, and a red bag too. Dr. Lori Barcliffe Baptista, the African American Academic Network, thanks you for participating as our keynote speaker and providing a lasting message of encouragement to our graduates. Thank you so much. Now, we would like to begin the recognition of this year's graduating class. As graduates approach the stage to receive their certificate from AAAN, we will also like to acknowledge those who are receiving AAAN Advisor Awards, GPA Awards, as well as Latin Honors. Vance Pierce, the Associate Director in the Center for Student Involvement, will lead the recognition of this year's graduates. Vance?
Muna Abduali, cum laude. Georgine Aqua. Farida Adajare, cum laude. Irene Adeleke, AAAN awardee. Oluwaseyi Adeleke, AAAN awardee. Fabian Adenaye, AAAN awardee. Fumi Adeniji. Deborah Adeoye, AAAN awardee, magna cum laude. Olashaye Lawai Ajishabede. Fatima Ali, AAAN awardee. Erica Ball. Mary Balogan. Nalandria Banks. Veronica Bakay, AAAN awardee. Chelsea Bond, AAAN awardee. Brittany Bowie. Sophia Cadet, AAAN awardee. Jontel Carter. Julian Chapman. Artasia Clark.
Thank you.
Savon Clark, AAAN awardee. Demetrius Coleman. Chatelle Coleman. Marcus Kroom. Demetria Dawkins, AAAN awardee. Jude Duval. Michael Euku Ame. Jabuchim Ezekiel. Linda Gandunu. Johanna Gade, AAAN awardee. Ashley Gordon. Jasmine Gunn. Nafisa Hanidu. Jumai Hariran, cum laude. Diamond Harris, summa cum laude and AAAN awardee. Lacharo Hawkins. Sinsara Hearn. Kendall Hennard. Casey Harris. Kaisha Hunt. Osasuwin Ideimudia. Tamadeo Jayola. Ashley Johnson. It's okay. Rachel Johnson, AAAN awardee. Majestic Jordan, AAAN awardee. Rahel Cassie. Fiba Falua Kilani, AAAN awardee. Mariah Neeland. Taylor Lay, cum laude. Shaquila LaShure. Siobhan Majili. Ivory Moore. Rashida Muhammad, AAAN awardee. Sarah Nuala, with honors and distinction. Salimata Najur. Blessing Uwachuku. Crystal Wakocha, AAAN awardee. Jude Wokinkwa. Winifred Obanor, cum laude, AAAN awardee. Nato Obikeli, magna cum laude. Jennifer Oderinde, cum laude. Yatunde Odunlami. Oluwafunsha Okungwake. Afalake Halakanye, summa cum laude. Khadija Olayiwala. Rohima Omuwabi. Nanso Onwuma. Latoria Overton, cum laude, AAAN awardee. Damilola Oyedokun, cum laude. Ariel Palmer, cum laude. Trinice Pearson. Aisha Phillips. Daniel Pearson. Ronisha Preckwinkle. Kavetta Quay-Green. Antonia Santos, cum laude. Jacob Schultz, AAAN awardee. Holalekun Shobuwale, cum laude, AAAN awardee. Devontae Sloan. Deborah Shodimu. Kristen Spires. Lyric St. Julian. Eddie Taylor Jr. Evan Taylor, AAAN awardee. Kara Taylor. Joanna Thompson. Takadia Thompson. Hold on. Takadia Thompson. Dorian Tyler, AAAN awardee. Kimberly Walker. Regina Ward. Diamond Webb. Lauren Renee Whetstone. Alexis Williams. Jessica Williams. Lanisa Williams, AAAN awardee. Ariel Fox. Gabrielle Young.
Yes, congratulations. this has been. Clearly, I realize that I now stand before you and the close of a very inspiring evening. Thus, I will be brief. First and foremost, the African American Academic Network team, Jeff Brown, Joseph Fields, Juanita McCary, Joel Chenault, Ashley Stone, Fawad Raji. We all would like to thank you for spending this evening with us. And a very special thanks to our amazing speakers. Thank you very much. We would also like to thank the UIC partners, other entities on and off campus who have helped make this evening amazing. Thank you. Audience, I ask, as we prepare for the close of this evening, please remain seated until the stage guest exits and our students are led out of the auditorium. We want to give them a collective farewell. Graduates, please remain seated until, where is he? Oh, there he is. He's already ahead of me. Our Grand Marshal comes to your row, which will be shortly. Now, graduates, this was truly an impressive evening, but meant to impress upon you how very proud we are of you and your accomplishments to date. More importantly, we hope that you are more encouraged, motivated, and determined to create positive changes in your lives and in the lives of others. Some of you have received your degree, and others will receive your degrees this upcoming weekend from this outstanding institution. You, graduates, are well-rounded, resilient, equipped individuals ready to be change agents in our society. Graduates, it is written, your gifts will make room for you. Continue to give to your gifts. Use your degrees, what you have learned, your passion, your perseverance to preserve humanity and to make the world a better place. Be the positive change the world so needs. Compete with your previous self. Live with a relentless pursuit of your dreams, and moreover, with an understanding of the power of I am. Go forth, living a life of integrity and excellence, lifting as you climb. And so the journey continues. River Hills Community Health Center, here comes Jessica Williams. Jones Lang LaSalle JLL, here comes Aisha Phillips. Northwestern University, here comes Demetria Dawkins. Remaining graduates, please rise, joining those standing. Grand Marshal Brown, take your place. Doors ready for departure. Stage guests will exit to my left. Graduates, please rise. All graduates, please stand. And world, here they all come. Doctors, lawyers, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, actors, actresses, nurses, scientists, developers, trendsetters, history makers. The University of Illinois at Chicago, take your place. The world awaits you. Congratulations and good night. Room C or Hall C. There's light refreshments for you, an opportunity to meet the AAAN staff. Our UIC administration, faculty, and staff will be waiting to greet you. Drive safely, and thank you again.